Konnichiwa minasan, N107 here, coming at you at Richie Rich Labs. Today we're going to talk about Variable Refresh Rate, or VRR for short. So we're going to cover it in 3 chapters. The first one, Ichi, is going to be what it is, and then the Niban in second one is going to cover how you can use it, what you need in order to be able to use it, and then finally the third one. That one is going to be on why it even matters and why you should definitely look into buying a TV or monitor that supports VRR. But anyway, without further ado, let's talk about it. First, we're going to need to explain what it is. And before I can even explain what VRR is, I need to explain what a video is. A video is really just a bunch of frames or images being represented so fast at you that your brain gets tricked into thinking it's continuously moving, when in reality it's just a bunch of images. You know, those books that you can flip through and you can turn the pages and they'll look like they're moving. It's sort of like those motion little drawing thingies on the whatever they're called. Let me know in the comment section below. I forgot the name, but anyway, that's pretty much what video is. And 30 frames per second, it means 30 frames a second, so 30 images being shown at you in 1 second. That's pretty fast. And then of course you can double that into 60 frames per second, and then even double it to 120, and then go beyond that, which it's arguably, some people will argue, it's not even perceivable by the human eye. But anyway, around 240 is what we like to call the pinnacle of this tech. But anyway, that's the gist of it all. Where VRR comes into play is when your TV and Xbox, both of them, you know, they're talking to each other. The Xbox is producing the frames through its GPU, and then the TV is going to refresh its pixels. And then the pixels from top to bottom are going to reproduce the frames. And so the Xbox sends the frame to the TV, and then the TV refreshes at a certain interval. Definitely a tongue twister. Try saying that 10 times fast. But anyway, the TV is going to refresh and at a certain time frame, and then the Xbox is supposed to send the frames in there, and then things work in harmony, and aishitemasu, we all love each other, it all works. But it's not all perfect. Sometimes the Xbox is going to struggle to send a frame at the required time frame for the specific 30 or 60 or 120 FPS requirement. And so what happens is the TV, if you don't have VRR or AMD FreeSync or NVIDIA G-Sync, you're going to have a dropped frame, which brings input lag. It also brings screen tearing. Screen tearing is just a line across the screen that you get to see because a frame was sent out of place. It could be meaning your image is not in sync, and because it refreshes from top to bottom, you're going to end up having a ugly looking line across with outdated frames overlapping each other. So you must be wondering why the heck I even care. Well, the thing is, if you're wondering why, is for example, video games like platformers like Crash Bandicoot, those games require you to time your jumps at a certain timing, or you're not going to make the jump and you're going to end up falling and to your demise. But the thing is, so in those games, you're going to want to have your frames working and not have an outdated frame in there. And then when it comes to competitive, like Call of Duty, or let's call it Halo, Gears 5, you're going to have an outdated frame, meaning you're not seeing what is actually happening in the game, and that could be the difference between ending the game as a victor or the loser. So you are getting a smoother image, meaning you can discern things and act accordingly much better with more fresh information, but also not the wrong information, you know. But don't be fooled by some people that like to go around saying, oh yeah, if you got VRR, you're going to get better graphics, which technically you do as to smoothness, but you don't get better looking games per se. Besides, you know, the screen tearing. You also get lower input lag, but you don't get higher FPS. So if your console is struggling to hit 60 and it's hitting, let's say, for example, I'm going to show you a video up now. So with Conan Exiles, which by the way, if you like this kinds of video or are interested in a frames per second analysis of your favorite video games, don't forget to support the channel so I can make these kinds of videos with a like and a sub and hitting the bell along the way. But the thing is, with Conan Exiles, if you see the FPS here, you're looking at lower than the target 60 at times. Sometimes, rarely, it'll drop below 40, and the reason why that's important, and I'm pointing it out, is if you're looking at frames per second as to 50 to 60, or let's say 100 to 120, which then gets into a different kind of math, so stick with me on the 60 FPS example. 50 to 60, VRR is going to make it so smooth that more than likely I dare you to tell the difference between a native 60 FPS and a 55 FPS with VRR. It's practically impossible for the human eye to tell the difference. But anyway, when it drops below about 10 FPS, if it drops below that and it sticks too often to around 48, for example, or 49, which Conan Exiles does in this little section sometimes, but it's not too long, you probably will tell the difference if it sticks there for a little too long, because VRR is not going to save the day if it goes that low. And of course, the lower the FPS, the easier it is to tell the difference, so the ratio actually shrinks, because 30 to 25 is definitely probably going to smooth it out, but you're still going to notice it. I would argue probably 28, 29 is fine, but anything lower you're going to notice it, and so on and so forth with the rest of the FPS count. So the thing is, this tech is pretty good. I want it. I want my games to run and feel better, because some games are not perfect. Most will not stick to their locked target FPS count all the time, and so those drops, they practically become invisible for most games. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, if it's way too low, then you're gonna feel it still. But most games don't on the Xbox consoles. The thing is, if you want this and you're wondering how, you're going to need an HDMI 2.1 enabled TV. Monitors, the thing is with monitors, most of them will either come with G-Sync or AMD FreeSync. AMD FreeSync pretty much does the same thing as VRR, and most monitors come with that or G-Sync. G-Sync by NVIDIA, don't get that. That will not help your Xbox at all on the TV or monitor. You want AMD FreeSync or VRR. And usually, not all, but usually, and the more time goes by, we're gonna have that be more the standard. HDMI 2.1 should, by default, come with VRR enabled. AMD FreeSync, you might want, you're gonna need to check and see if the TV provider has that built in, and then double check on VRR, because I've heard rumors of some not implementing VRR into their HDMI 2.1 TVs, but that shouldn't be an issue as time goes by. With monitors, you don't need, AMD FreeSync does not need, even on TVs also, HDMI 2.1. You can do it with HDMI 2.0, but definitely I would stick with HDMI 2.1 just to be safe. So if you enjoy this kind of content, have any more further questioning, just go to the description. You can hit up my Discord server where I can help you more hands-on, or hit me up on social medias, and of course the comment section below. But anyway, I'm in World 7 for Richie Rich Labs here, and I hope you enjoyed this and you learned what VRR is and how it can improve drastically your gaming experience. But anyway, till next time, peace. Sayonara.